What is going on, DJ Nation? Kenny Kim here, bringing you another Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast. This week, for some shitty-ass tournament I already forgot about. That's how this season's fucking going with right now. Byron, what fucking tournament is this again?
I wanted to say the 3M, but I think it's the Rocket.
Rocket Mortgage, yes.
Yes.
The Rocket Mortgage, as usual. I am here with everybody's favorite South African, Byron Lindeque. Byron, what's up, my friend?
Kenny, trying to stay in the middle of my box here for producer Mike and trying to get through this week, man. Just looking forward to not Scotty Scheffler and trying to just figure out where the hell we're going. We got some strange characters. The top 5 guys, we got some fun stuff to chat about. Lots of fun.
As usual, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy right now. Use promo code Mayo. Get a deposit match up to $250. It seems like every time I don't post my Underdog shit now, it wins because I hit it again in round 4 when I did not.
It's your round 4s.
It's the round 4s. It's weird. I mean, I hit that again this past week. I have to say, like, I was not looking forward to the Travelers. It being the last designated event, no cut. But God damn it, did Sunday fucking deliver.
Dude.
I mean, this is exactly what the fucking PGA Tour wanted when they went with no cut and a bunch of these top guys playing in these events because, fuck, that leaderboard was sick. You had Tom up there all week. Scotty, of course. Finau. Xander was up there. Cantlay was up there. I'm missing some heads. I mean, and you even had like the other periphery guys. Who?
Colin. My boy Colin.
Yeah, Morikawa was up there for a little bit. Oh, yeah, he was. You got Pavon doing his thing once again, getting up there. I mean,
Cameron Young, 59.
Harmon, Cam Young. I mean, everything you wanted on Saturday and Sunday, you got. I did not think I was going to be as entertained as I was, especially coming off basically, U.S. Open hangover, because that was one of the best U.S. Opens we'd seen in a long time. And I was like, oh my God, we got to go to another signature event. But fuck. Like, I mean, it could have had to do with the fact that, I had a Tony outright. I had a Tom outright. I had Sung Jae.
Oh my God.
My cash game cornerstones. You know what I'm saying? So, overall it was a good week. And that could also play into the part of why I was still enthralled about the week. But like that final round going down, like Tom and Scheffler with everybody else fading basically on the last 6 holes. It was just them two because, at one point in the back 9, there was 4 guys tied for lead. And then all of them sort of shit the bed except Tom and except for Scotty. Finau had the outright lead, I think at 12 or 13. And I think he ended up finishing 5th. Got me the full place. Yeah. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that, Tom. I wish you won, but you got me the place too. All right, so I'll take a couple of placement wins in a week like that. And the event itself, like the shot that Tom hit on 18 in regulation, like for some reason I felt like he was going to hit a good shot. Like, when most people are in that situation against Scotty, and I don't know how true this is, but it's just what I feel. A lot of people tend to shit the bed when they see Scotty up there on the leaderboard and trying to catch up, do whatever. They go against their game. But when Tom was warming up for that approach on 18, I was like, he's gonna stick this shit close. I just felt it. I didn't feel like that normal feeling of any other golfer in that situation. It's like, oh fuck, Scotty. He's just they got to go against Scotty. They're gonna fuck.
I'm such a savage though. President's Cups, the Shriners. Like when he's in contention, dude, that guy nuts the hell up and does not miss.
So fun to watch,
dude.
Yes, he's a little slow, but you know what? He was really slow on Sunday. I can give a pass for guys who are 22 years old, who is trying to still figure out themselves on the golf course as a pro. Because, this is something new that he's been doing where he's been taking more time. And I feel like it wasn't that big of a deal the first 3 days. He took a lot of time on Sunday. He was very, very deliberate. Now, I don't know if he's smart enough to do that because he was paired with Scotty, because he played a lot quicker Saturday. than he did on Sunday. Now, he still wasn't fast, but he played quicker than he did on Sunday. So in my head, I'm thinking, is this gamesmanship? Is he smart enough to use gamesmanship in this situation? Being Scotty's friend, like best friend almost, right? And he has to know Scotty's ins and outs on a golf course because they play together every week, right? At home. And so did he do that shit on purpose? To play slower than normal because he knew he was going up against Scotty in his group? I don't know. He's 22 years old. So I don't know if he had that thought in his head or if it was just the fact that he was in contention for the first time in a long time in the final group of a tournament. So he made himself play even slower. I don't know. We will probably never know.
No.
But he definitely played faster Saturday from the league. I watched all weekend. And he played faster on Saturday. It really wasn't an issue.
I've been on Tom Kenny for a while. Like I was on him at the RBC. I was on at the US Open. And he was cruising the first 3 rounds, dominating the strokes gain categories. And then the Sundays were just these clusterfucks of missed putts inside 4 feet. And I think that's potentially what he might have decided. Is like, we got to fix something up here. Because that's why I got off of him. Because I was like, this guy doesn't follow through on his good performances. Now, he slowed it down a bit. Maybe that's what he needed to do to keep himself in the groove and just, all right, I'm getting a little fast inside my brain. Maybe I chill it out from a physical, like, methodical perspective and then just kind of go from there. If it helps get Scotty a little restless, then so be it. You know, then I'm cool for that because he's Scotty's little brother. Let's be honest. They got the same birthday. I mean, his Scotty's parents were like congratulating Tom and love you this, love
and
you
we're
that.
so
like,
proud of you. I mean, like how
proud, you know, like
that shit, man.
You know, like I think what Matt was saying, Matt Vincenzi was saying something about Tom needs to turn into a savage and like quit being buddy. Yeah, I think that's like Tom's superpower. It's like this little puppy dog, you know, Puss in Boots from Shrek, where you just like, you know, like the cute little the cat eyes, the pussy eyes, and then the next thing off you go. You just, you know, just kick some ass with the swords and boots there. So I think that's what Tom Kim's situation is, and it's going to be secret power now.
Yeah, I that shot on 18, I audibly like yelled and screamed. Like I thought that was going in. I mean, it was so sick. A super fun watch. I mean, I had a great time watching the event, and I didn't think I would. And I think PGA has to be happy with how it ended their signature events because this is exactly what they wanted. They want this leaderboard week in and week out. Now, let's talk about these signature events. I mean, obviously, we don't like the cut, right? But the reason why we want the cut. We don't like the no cut, right? Yeah. And so obviously they did this because they want all the best players to play on the weekend. For sponsors, for other reasons, that's what they want. Now, I was thinking one little example that I thought maybe, I don't know, that if you're in the top 10 in the FedEx Cup rankings in the signature event, you can't get cut. Make it like 90 golfers to 40 to 50, and then the people that are in the top 10 don't count against the cut.
That's genius.
I mean, okay. I mean, like, then you still get like a half the field cut, sort of, but you still get to keep the best players in the world. And then it gives people more incentive to be inside the top 10 of the FedEx Cup. So it makes that FedEx Cup standings like really important in fucking January, right? Like, you know, in February, it'll be important because if you're in the top 10 in that FedEx Cup standings, you know, you cannot get cut from these signature events. Look, they're trying all types of new shit, right? I understand where the PGA Tour is coming from. The sponsors want it, you know, and they're losing sponsors. They don't want a week where like Rory and Colin and X and Scotty's not going to miss cut, but have these top dogs miss the cut. So you just make it where the top 10 in the FedEx Cup standings at the time of the event no, they don't get cut. They don't count against the cut. That would be a suggestion on my end, because they're not going to change this system. It's still going to be signature events. We want cuts, but they want the best players in the world to always play the weekend. I think that this could fix it. And it adds like another nuance to the rankings and like the FedEx Cup standings. And no one gives a shit about the FedEx Cup till after the Open Championship really is over, right? Like
this is awesome. This is a great idea, dude.
Like that is the way I think it should be fixed.
And then you could almost do like the rest of the guys versus those top 10 dudes.
Yeah.
Like,
and then here's the thing. Like, when it comes to DFS, it puts a wrinkle in DFS, but the top 10 in the FedEx Cup standings probably going to be like you're inside the top 15 highest price guys. So you can't just play all of them, right?
Right.
You can't play all of them. It adds a little extra thing like, okay, how many of these no-cut guys am I going to put in my lineup? Like, is it worth going in that direction and rostering these guys and going superstars and scrubs? Or can I go different from the field and only play maybe one or two of those guys and then take the risk on the rest, and I'll be completely different from the field? I think it could be helpful in every single aspect that we, go about golf watching. And from our end, the sponsors, from the PGA Tour end, the players, they should probably still be happy about it, because, it's those top guys that want this shit to happen, right? They want to make that money. Well, you be in the top 10 on the FedEx Cup standings, you're a top guy, right? Yeah. I think that's the way to fix it. Do you see any other way to fix the signature events?
Yeah, I think what you were saying is interesting. What I was thinking about that is you could almost give like in cricket, you have a power play. No, you don't know this in cricket, but like in specific sports,
they got power plays in cricket?
Yeah, dude, like you have to have a certain amount of people inside a specific circle closer to the batsman. So there's more people closer, so you hit it over them, and there's only two guys outside of the circle, which is about half the oval, right, that they play in. So the less people out there, the less chance you can get caught out, because once you're out, you're out forever, in cricket. It's not like baseball, you come back in again. So you're really taking a chance, and then you can score more runs during that time, so guys are more aggressive. I think in a signature event, providing some sort of an option like that where you can use a certain drop, like, I know it's super gimmicky, but like almost doing like, if you choose to be the no-cut person, you take 10% off the top of your salary or your payout for that week. You're guaranteeing money, but you're not getting all of it, because I think the other people will be bitching about the top 10 guys, but also at the same time, Rory will say, play better. And speaking about Rory, my biggest issue with this is the designated events, signature events after a major. It's like, I'm more excited about the Rocket Mortgage this week than I was last week. It was just like granted, it was the best major ever, but like, not ever, but you know what I'm saying. And it's just the anticipation of a big event like this after such a major situation is just, it loses its touch. It needs to be leading up to the majors.
I understand what you're saying, but from like a content people, from guys like us, yes, that would make it better. But like, I think the PGA Tour wants to, ride the momentum is what I think that they want to do. And I think that plus the guys wanting to play all the signature events bunched up so they have 4 or 5 weeks off that they can have. I think that's something that's there. But they also,
Rory doesn't miss this thing if it's before the majors.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I understand that they've already changed that rule, because they are going to allow alternates starting next season. So we won't have Chris Goddard teeing off by himself.
Right. But it's still Rory, though. He's not there. Like, that's the thing. He's the top 10 guy that you want there.
Well, he's paying at least $3 million, I think, is the fine for the second one that you miss. So it's not like
he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like chump change. Yeah. I don't know if that's the exact amount, but it's like millions of dollars for the fine for the second one you miss. And I get why the PGA wants to do it back-to-back after a major, because they want to ride that momentum. I guarantee you, if we look at the ratings for Sunday, I bet you they'll be pretty good.
Sure.
Because you have the casuals out there riding that momentum. I bet you the live numbers this week were probably one of the best that they're going to have, right?
Yeah.
Because they want to take that momentum and keep it going at least for another week for the casuals. So I understand that. Look, I mean, when it's scheduled, it's scheduled. That's not the big thing. I think we just need a change in how the signature events are cut. Like, we need a cut. And I think that we need some, but again, we need to have the PGA Tours back, because they want all the top players still make it the weekend. If you're a top 10 in the FedEx Cup, you're exempt from being cut from signature events.
It's good.
I
like it.
I think that's a perfect little wrinkle that you can have, and that adds a lot of drama, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going into a signature event, right, and you're in 11th place, right? You're like, fuck. Look, I gotta get in that fucking top 10, so I don't have to worry about, getting cut. You can add those little things to it. I don't know, and it'll make like the FedEx Cup rankings, more
exciting
to look at.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season. I mean, when people break out the FedEx Cup rankings in like January,
it's a snooze.
Like, the Riviera, people are like, what the fuck? Who the fuck cares, right?
Yeah.
But now it's something to look at. Well, shit, who's in the fucking top 10? Right? I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. That's just my thoughts. Overall, good week for me. Cash lineup hit barely. I had Tom as a cornerstone, so of course, and I had Sung Jae in my cash lineup. Harmon as another cornerstone. So I had 3 guys in the top 10 in my cash lineup. So that was a win. Not as easy as I thought. It was basically on the freaking border, but I still pulled through. Hit the 2 each ways. Tom, of course, didn't come through with the win. That would have been really nice. But that was each way. Hit number 21 and number 22 of 2024. Not even last fall. Just starting from the century. So, yeah, if you can get your hands on a book that has each way betting, I don't see why you would do it. I don't.
It makes you want to really ride your bicycle off a cliff in the middle of Iowa when Colin Morikawa was T6 heading into a Sunday, and then shanks one out of bounds, decides to miss every putt under the sun. I went from gaining $7 on the week to losing 32 on my Breaking 100 article because Xander shot a 70. He shoots a 69 around TPC River Highlands. Okay, this is the world number 2 golf. Shot even par. And I needed him to finish top 10. Didn't. And I was fuming, dude. I did an emergency sprint session because I was like, when you don't wear your heart rate monitor because you don't want to see what your heart rate's going to get up to on a bicycle, because that's what fucking Xander Schauffele did to me. Anyway.
Yeah, so
I'm done with that.
Well, here's the thing. It's not like I won a lot of money. I won $5.80 on DraftKings. Like, that was my profit.
It's money. It's green.
Hey, I faded Scotty. So that was a Scotty Scheffler fade, and I won money. I won $5.80 there. I won like $40 on Underdog for the week because I lost everything until Sunday. And then I hit the 2 each ways for that was like $490. I bet $350. So I made $140 on the betting cards. So I mean, return on investment.
You blew it on chicken wings.
Return. I did. Let's speak about this. So, okay. All right. So, Tambo. Speaking of Tambo, I do want to say he is giving away $50,000, possibly $50,000. Our boy Tambo is going to be in the Fantasy Golf World Championships this week at the Rocket Mortgage. If he wins, he is giving away 5% of his total winnings. So first place is $1 million. So he could be giving away $50,000. So make sure you go to Tambo's Twitter feed and find out how you can get in on the contest to win that money. And for me, for Byron, for producer Mike, we all want Tambo to win too, because I hit him up earlier today to try and give him some good luck. about this Fantasy Golf World Championship, and he said he would throw down in Montreal if he wins this Millie. By what he means by that, I'm not sure. I'm sure I will give him maybe an idea or two on what he could do to make this party at Montreal great. I have plenty of ideas, Tambo. So you can hit me up if you do win that Millie. So selfishly, I want to see Tambo win this, and also I want to see Tambo win because he's a good dude and he's my friend. So
you're going to be throwing down, we're going to be throwing up, and it's going to be a fun time. I can't wait.
Yeah. So make sure you go at Toe Tag and Tambo. Go to his website, go to his Twitter, his X page, find out how to get in on this contest to win possibly $50,000.
All right, folks. So we're doing this contest where the comment who shows up first with the winner for this week's tournament will be entered into a 3-man tournament with me and Kenny on DK. We will be using that to kind of have a fun time with our fans. So do that. Last week's winner was Hot Soup 14. So make sure you check your DK notifications because whoever showed up with us last week didn't. So it was just me and Kenny versus each other. It was a boring ass time. We didn't even know who won because we didn't give a shit. So
make sure I knew I beat you.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Maybe that's why I did. So yeah, maybe I had Benny on in there. Who the heck knows? But
yeah, please make sure, go ahead, leave the winner in the comments, and make sure to post your DK handle. If you don't post your DK handle, we're not going to find you either. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Let's keep this going week in and week out. Let's try and build this tournament of champions up. All right, so Hot Soup 14, come on against us in this 3-man. And if you beat us, you're in the tournament of champions. All right, before we move on, let's have a word from our sponsor. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. Personally, for me, it's work. I'm an estimator. I have to win jobs so people don't get fired underneath me, right? And it definitely causes me stress on a daily basis. When we keep these things bottled up, it can start to affect us negative. Therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. For example, it's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who have experienced major traumas. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/fantasygolf today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/fantasygolf. All right, let's talk about our little weight loss challenge now. So Byron last week, he's been crushing. You're over 20 pounds now, right?
No, I went back a touch because prior to weighing in on Saturday, I hadn't gone to the diaper kegger that I went to on Saturday. So I went backwards a bit, but you know what? I'll take what I am. I'm at 17, 16
Well,
now
here's
again,
the thing.
so,
I took a picture. I took a screenshot of you in the first podcast we did together at the Heritage. And then I took a picture of you last week. And the physical transformation, like your face is so much skinnier. Now, you definitely look happier when you were fat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which I can understand. But your transformation has been great. Now, for me, I've been struggling. Okay, I'm still not. I'm like, I've gained back a little bit. I'm like at around 250. I started at 262.4. I went to the doctor's last week. Actually, when the last doctor's appointment I went to 4 months ago, I was 268. So technically, in the last 4 months, I've lost like 18 pounds.
Oh, yes.
Now, but the problem with me is I got the exercise thing down. The exercise is now a part of my life. It's a part of my daily routine. Like I don't even dread it. Like I sort of like look forward to it. One reason is because it's an hour of work that I get off because my boss lets me walk around the mall, take a couple of laps around the mall instead of my lunch break. So it usually takes about 45 minutes, and then I'll grab like a quick lunch. So I can take an hour off work because of this. So that makes it easier. And then plus now when I get home, last week was tough. I had to wait till like 7:30. It was like 100 degrees every day. But I've been walking 2.5 miles when I get home as well. So every day. So I'm trying to break 10,000 steps every day and about 5 miles of walking every day. So far today, I've gone. I did a little extra other things that I've been doing. Like anytime I go somewhere, like even when I go to work, I park at the farthest fucking parking spot away.
Let's go.
Possible, right? Farthest fucking. It's literally like a third of a mile walk from where I park at work now to getting into work, and that's one way. So that's almost 2/3 of a mile just walking to my car.
Free.
Yeah. So like I've been doing that anytime I go like grocery shopping. Anytime I'm going somewhere, I'm parking as far away from the entrance as possible. The little things like that have been helping me. So the exercise shit, I feel comfortable with. I'm down. It's 6 to 7 days a week now. It's getting there. My problem is the calorie deficit.
Before you get into that, Kenny, I just want to say, congrats, dude. Like that's awesome. I'm so excited for you that you've done that. Like I feel the same way with like looking forward to it. That's the best part about being fit and exercise.
Well, I have to say, like I said, I've seen this before, but I've done this before. But it's never stuck. And it sticks this time because I put it out on social media, stop being fat, my hashtag out there.
Yes.
And so I feel obligated to, do this shit and like not like gain weight and be like, Kenny, what the fuck are you doing? So I feel obligated to do it, but also everyone out there giving me support. Byron, you doing it. My followers on X, every time I post something about it, they're always so supportive, so uplifting, so motivational that it just makes it a lot easier. So if you guys have been doing that for me, I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys keep on doing it because it really is motivating me to continue doing this stop being fat shit, right?
Yeah.
But here's my problem. I can't stop eating. I love food. Okay, and it's different for me because I've worked in the restaurant industry for 20 years, and the last 10 years was fine dining. I got a taste of
gourmet
food, and tasty, delicious food, and tasty, delicious food is bad for you. It's just plain and simple. If it's delicious, it's probably gonna kill you, more than likely, right? I mean, it fucking sucks. I mean, it's a goddamn joke. Is really what it fucking comes down to because everything is so fucking delicious. And I can't eat that shit anymore. But occasionally I still do. It's 4 days of the week, I'm pretty good, right? 4 to 5 days. It's the other 2 to 3 days where I just go insane, temporarily insane. Because I went to the doctor on Thursday, or was it Friday? Usually Thursday or Friday. And my blood tests came back and they were the best it's been. Since I've been to the doctor. I started going after my stroke a couple of years ago.
On the can, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was the best my numbers have been, blah, blah, blah. So I was I'll reward myself. So what did I do? I think I had 24 chicken wings, Korean barbecue. It's just hard for me to not eat deliciously good food.
But just stop doing it in abundance, smash that stuff in... Do 12, just keep knocking it in half. And then text me before that and say, Byron, I'm about to do what I do. And I'll tell you, Kenny, you fat shit. You don't need 24. You need 12. Yeah. Let's go.
See, that's why I've been losing as much weight is because I still have those 2 or 3 days. There'll be one day a week where I eat 8,000 calories. Literally 8,000 calories in a day. There'll be 4 or 5 days a week where I eat 1,800, right? And then there'll be one day where I eat 3,000. And then there'll be one day where I eat 8,000. In a day. And it's avoiding that one day. And I'm getting better at the night cravings. Because someone suggested that I fall asleep earlier. I've actually been doing that. I've been sleeping a little bit earlier. I've been basically passing out. I've been eating the inedible and then I'll smoke a vape pen and get extra high. And then by 9:30, I'm asleep on my couch. And by 10, I get up and go to bed. And so that keeps those 10 o'clock meals, which I am known for, gone. And so this past week, I've been very good at that. I haven't had that late night meal, but this weekend, of course, I just fucking go all
You
out.
order it to your house, or do you like go and buy it?
No, I order that shit. I don't need.
Well, then you need to delete those apps. Like, get that app deleted off your phone. Like, if you're doing Grubhub or whatever, please sponsor the show. I'll buy the Grubhub for whoever, but not Kenny. Like what I'm saying. Like, we need to get that
I
app
think
off your
last year I spent 14,000 on Uber Eats.
Yeah, no.
Last year.
Yeah, no, Kenny.
And
that's the problem. You delete those things. Delete those apps and see what happens. Then you got to like, all right, now I got to download
I don't
this
cook.
fucker. Go.
I don't really cook.
Meal prep your shit. Let's go. Like, it takes time and energy to do this. Let's do it right, bro. You're gonna feel so goddamn good.
If you guys have any advice on how to like not eat as much, because I mean, like I can't help it, and it's usually just like 1 or 2 days a week. Like during the week, I'm fine. It's the weekends, and then you add like some booze to it, and and then you add whatever, and then it becomes like this whole fiasco where I'm guzzling.
Yeah, no.
4 times the amount that I should daily intake of calories in a day. And so I just
delete it on Fridays and call it a day for the weekend. Delete those apps on Friday, reload them up on Monday, maybe.
I don't know, man. I got to
delete one of them or something. Yeah.
I got to figure something out. We'll
do this.
We'll see how it goes. But I mean, how's your trek going? I mean, like, is your wife helping you? Is she cooking you like better meals? Like, what's the deal?
My wife, I guess it's because I don't see my wife. I don't know, because she's a softball coach. So she's out and about all the time. And what I've just been doing
sounds like the type of marriage that I would like to be.
She's amazing.
One way you just like
she's
don't
an
see her unless you need her. Sounds fucking perfect to me.
And then she comes home and brings home all the allergies from the softball field. So the first time I see her, I'm almost becoming allergic to her. But that's neither here nor there. But I've just got rid of all the crap. I ate it all. Like right before the original show, like my mom shows up with South African candy. I've just got all of these chocolates. I'll eat 3 chocolates in one day, like a full candy bar, like I can do the same thing with you, Kenny, but I've just tried my best. And getting through that first week is the hardest. And then your cravings disappear a little bit, and I don't eat breakfast. I just eat lunch and dinner. And then when I'm done with that, I'm done with that. And off I go, get on my bicycle as well. Like I've been exercising hard on the bicycle, get that heart rate way up, like really ramping it up and helping out with that. So
Kenny,
so today
intermittent fasting. Have you heard?
I have.
Okay.
So when I do intermittent fasting, the days I do intermittent fasting are the days where it's nearly impossible for me not to have a 10 p.m. snack. Is what I've noticed. The days, so I do that maybe about 3 days a week. I stopped.
What is your schedule? Like when do you fast from to when do you do?
So when I get up at 8, so from the last thing I'll eat is like at 8 o'clock at night, and then I won't eat again until like 8 o'clock at night the next day. It'll basically be like a 24-hour fast.
That's long, dude. Like maybe just do 16, where you just knock out, give yourself a lunch. And for you almost, if possible, you want to do breakfast and lunch, leave the crap in the evenings alone, and then let's see what happens, and try to do it five days a week. And then on the weekends, maybe you can fuck around a bit, so.
I think I have to stop fucking around.
Yes, because we find
around a bit. I think that's what's fucking me up.
Yeah.
So all right. So if you guys out there got some hints, like here's the thing. Like a couple of weeks ago, with the late night snacking, people were like hummus and like sugar snap peas. Whoever did that, that's great. I've been doing hummus and sugar snap peas, like cherries, blueberries, stuff like that as like a late night snack. So I don't think I've called Uber Eats after I've had dinner in over a week. So that's better. It's just those crazy days. Like I'll lose like 6 pounds during the week and gain 5 back on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I gotta figure something out.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's time code, so you guys can skip this shit if you like. So that's the great thing about the show. Mike, make sure you put this stop being fat segment on the time code that people just don't want to hear about our personal life and us trying to stop being fat. But hey, once again, I do appreciate everyone supporting me and Byron.
And
in this
is also encouragement to you. If you're a little fatty on the couch like we've been, go ahead and this is 8 Mile week. It's M&M week. It's in Michigan, Detroit. let's freaking go and walk your 8 miles this week. However you get it done, get 8 miles in. Let's go. I'm doing 8. Kenny obviously does more than that.
I'm doing 5 miles a day. Basically.
Let's go.
I'm doing. Yeah.
Let's go.
So I mean, if my fat ass can do this shit, you can do this shit too.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, that's what it comes down to. All right. So before we move on, let's have a word from our sponsor. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I personally like the Pick'em games. Pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build a Pick'em entry. Can also make rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other. Now, the reason I like the Pick'em games is because of these things called scorchers. There's these little chili peppers next to the golfers' names, and if you click on that, it adds to your multiplier, so you can win even more money. Sign up today with promo code Mayo and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant Pick'em special. Must be 18 or over and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, so next up is our Underdog segment. Now, when I looked at the Underdog things before the pod, it really only had strokes and finishing positions. They just added the birdies are better.
Oh boy.
Right now. But you know what? I already put mine in. So we're doing higher and lower on score because that's all they had at the time. So
which is
here
fine.
we go.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It was what we're doing. So my Underdog pick and play for this week. Oh, and so of course, was it last week where I think Cam Young, that was the second round. That was the second round where Cam Young, basically I had Cam Young to have less than 5.5 birdies, and he made the 25-footer on Friday, and then hit on 18 to get his 6th birdie. And then he went on Saturday and shot 59 and played decent on Sunday till he fell apart, of course, on the back 9. So basically all it took for Cam Young to come back and be back was for me to bet him fucking under on birdies. But we move on. Luckily, so my pick this week, it's going to be Maverick McNeely, one of my favorite plays this week, lower than 68.5 strokes. Cameron Young, I don't believe in you, higher than 67.5 strokes. And then Keith Mitchell, Killer Keith, lower than 68.5 strokes. He's gained, I think Keith has gained strokes ball striking in 17 straight events.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. It's pretty wild. So once again, Maverick McNeely, lower than 68.5 strokes. Cam Young, higher than 67.5 strokes. Keith Mitchell, lower than 68.5 strokes. Pay 6.3 times.
Let's go. I love it. I think, Keith Mitchell's strokes gained in this field, 36th and 41st Friday and Thursdays. Then it jumps into the 80s and 90s for rounds 3 and 4. So if you're in the mood for Keith Mitchell, jump into him early before the weekend gets there. So I've got a similar situation where I went to 6.3 return here by going 2 lower and 1 higher. The 2 lowers are Davis Thompson and Taylor Moore. These 2 guys around this venue, they just know what they're up to. 68.5 strokes lower for both of them. Davis Thompson, Taylor Moore. And then Ben Griffin, just coming off of eye surgery, is higher than 68.5. The guy was seeing those little fuzzies right before you have a migraine. He's still seeing them post-surgery, and I think he's just had the surgery now. So prior to the surgery, I wasn't too concerned, but post-surgery, things aren't going to be okay for him, and round 1's not necessarily his best round either. So I'm going to go higher than 68.5 strokes for Ben Griffin, who's basically one of the 4 blind mice now. So it's Taylor Moore, lower than 68.5, Davis Thompson, lower than 68.5, and Ben Griffin, higher than 68.5 strokes for 6.3 return there.
All right, that sounds great. Let's move on to our unsponsored betting segment. Once again, if you'd like to sponsor our betting segment, hit up our DMs. All right, so why don't you go ahead and list out your outrights there first, my friend?
I will do that for you, Kenny, because I've got some fun ones. I'm going to go ahead and play Akshay Bhatia. And these are all with 5 places each way over at Bet365. And I'm going with him at 22-1. I mean, the guy was just jamming out last week, and he's driving the ball great. He's putting the ball well. I think, we've seen him go low on these kind of courses too. So he's doing some good stuff after kind of losing momentum after his win at the Valero. And then I'm going to go with Taylor Pendrith. I jumped in on a 40 there early. That seems to have drifted into the 33s, but Taylor Pendrith his rankings for all the courses he's played, this is the second best course that Taylor Pendrith plays out of his personal. He gains the second most strokes at this golf course personally. And then I'm going to go with Michael Thorbjornsen, who is not to be confused with Thorbjorn Olesen, who is also in the same odds range. So Michael Thorbjornsen at 66, this guy was the guy that's the next Ludwig, right? He just came out of college, just got his PGA card last week and made his professional debut. So he's back at a golf course.
Is he the new Ludwig? Or is it Shipley?
Well, he's
our boy Shipley is balling.
You know what the funny thing is? I couldn't find any Shipley bets. They didn't have him on the outrights.
I saw him. It was like I saw him. I think I saw him at like for 12 places. He was 100-1.
Yes, I've seen it on Odds Checker, but I couldn't find it on my books. So maybe it's out there because I want to bet him. But what I'm saying is he's the new guy that he got the PGA U, right? That's how he got his car.
Yes.
That's basically what I'm saying. And he's also got tons and tons of distance and all that jazz. Also a foreigner. He's not an American, we'll get over that. Yeah. 60-61, let's go. And then we're going to get into the higher stakes here. And 100-1, Alejandro Tosti. If you just think about someone that just munches it off the tee, can get really spicy and good, on the Corn Ferry Tour, that guy could go deep. I think we're going to have to see guys go really, really deep this week. And then Jake Knapp finding himself.
What number did you get for Toasty?
100 to 1. And that's including the placing. So you've got a 25-1 top 5 for Toasty, in that market there. Because I do the 5 places for the each ways. And that seems how that's been working out for me. And then the same thing, Jake Knapp. I've gone to these guys that have got absolute nukes off the tee that can still kind of keep themselves in the mix. Toasty's down to 80. So that's some nice closing line value, unfortunately, for myself. But I'd still probably go there at 80. I think that's a solid number for Toasty. And then Jake Knapp as well at about 100-1. So if you think about Knapp, on these big bomber courses, he can just unleash it. Like you just see his drives around TPC Highlands. It's like 335, 340. Like the guy just completely just hits it so far. And we can putt, he can use irons. Let's go. I'm all for him doing his thing. So those are my 5 guys so far. And we'll see how they go.
So I got 4 main bets and 4 long shots.
Yes.
So my 4 main bets, I'm going to start with Maverick McNeely, 25-1 with 8 places. Again, the guy, I like him. We'll talk about him a bunch when it comes down to it. He's one of my cash game cornerstones, a guy who could just punish the ball off the tee and he could putt well. It's a pretty good combination at this course. So Maverick McNeely, 25-1. Pendrith, for all the reasons you said, I got 30-1 with 8 places. Chris Kirk, maybe a little bit out there. A guy who, a proven winner, won this year. I think he's done well at this event before in the past. He's 40-1 with 8 places. Then I got Matt Wallace, 50-1 with 8 places. Again, another course history guy down here who just loves this course, plays well, and has been doing pretty well here recently, both across the pond and here on the PGA Tour. Now, my 4 bombs, I'm going to start off with Daniel Berger at 75-1 with 8 places. His ball striking looked really good here recently. It looks like he might be back. We'll see. And, if you said Berger at 75-1 in this field 3 years ago, you'd be crazy. Now he's gone through a lot of stuff. Hopefully he's coming back. I think this is a great tournament for him to come back at and do well. He always tended to play well on easier courses. So give me a little bit of Berger, 75-1 with 8 places. Then I'm going to go ahead and take S.H. Kim, number 1 in birdies or better in easy conditioning, easy scoring conditions in this field in the last 24 rounds. He's made a shit ton of cuts. You can get him at, I got him at 90-1 with 8 places. Justin Lower, Again, another golfer who plays well on easier type setups. I got him 110-1 with 8 places. And then I tailed Bear off on this one. Never really heard this guy, but Benjamin James. I guess he won a U.S. Open qualifier that was littered with tour pros. And he is an amateur out of UVA, which I probably shouldn't bet him anyway since I am a Hokie. But I went with Bear off, and I went 12 places with this guy, 225-1.
Go.
So, you know, there are some guys here that are like super young that, you know, might have a chance. I mean, you got Thorbjornsen, you got Clan Shipley, who's like 170. We were just talking about Koiven, who's been playing very, very well. James, again, another guy who won that qualifier against a bunch of tour pros. So we could see some youth definitely sticking out at this event this week. Now, I know, Byron, you have some more bets for us. Why don't you go over them, please?
I got a little teaser for you guys because I've always got my Back Nine Bet show that's on Mayo Media Network. This will be the official full on Mayo, no more on Back Nine Bets. It's fully on Mayo Media Network now on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. So catch me over there on Back Nine Bets. Kenny made me drink 7.5 Twisted Teas on the show last week, but we still survived.
So that was the first time I've seen your show in a while, right? Dude, you're spitting like facts, bro.
Oh, bro.
Like you were spitting some shit out there. I don't know if it was the 7 fucking Twisted Teas that I forced you to drink in the span of like 20 minutes, which is impressive, by the way. But I don't know. Make sure you check that show out because your models, I can see why they call you the model maniac, because those things are pretty fucking tight. If you ever want to, you know, throw some of those on here, I'm sure producer Mike can put those up on the board for you on occasion, because those models are pretty fucking sick.
Absolutely. We'll make sure we take care of that going forward. I think that's a great idea. Can you give the people another little teaser before they jump into the show tomorrow? And I'm going to go with the 4 guys. There's 3 guys or so that really have some incredible top 40 numbers when it comes to like completing top 40 percentages. And Alex Noren, Aaron Rye, you're going to find them at -160, -150. These are the bubble us boy bets here. We're going to see these 3 guys come through. And then the anchor that's really going to get this thing to like +700 is Kelly Craft. So these guys, when you're taking a peek at what they get up to in the top 40 market, it's sensational. They're all at the top of the board here, and they're all in the 60% range for made 40%, you know, like top 40. So you really want to take these guys and parlay them to get them to 7-1. I think it's +365. Bet365 lets you do that, and it's +736, you know, for the payout there. So you can do that. And Kelly Craft, 62% of his 13 starts in the last 12 months have been top 40s, but it's only 23% of them have been top 20s, right? So you find these guys. My model identifies these guys for me, and then I can find out, okay, this is the bet you want to place on Kelly Craft, is the top 40 bets, because it happens more often than not. And in a field like this, Kelly, you know, I fancy his chances, even though the model doesn't quite fancy him as much. So,
oh, you know what? The model actually has him pretty high for me. So I agree with you on Kelly Craft, especially when it comes to easy courses. If I'm looking at my model right now for easy courses, if I remember correctly, he was pretty high up there. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, those are my 3 there. Those are little tasters for the top 40 side of things there, the Bubble Us boys. And we're going to rock and roll with the top 40 parlay to pay out 7-1. So hopefully that can take care of business for us this week.
7-1 parlay sounds good to me. Make sure you go put that in and let's win some motherfucking money. Shit. All right. So let's move on and let's actually talk about this week. PGA Tour heads to Detroit, Michigan. I'm actually going to be in Detroit in about a month, right outside of Detroit. Shout out to our guy over at Monster Energy for hooking us up. For going to go see some NASCAR over at Michigan Speedway with little Jeff Feinberg. So that should be a fun little week to go. But the PGA Tour heads to Detroit, Michigan for the Rocket Mortgage Classic from Detroit Golf Club. This is the 6th iteration of this event. Got to change that in the write-up because I have 5th. iteration of this event. So we're starting to get a feel as to how the course plays. The first 2 years, absolute birdie fest. Nate Lashley won by 6 strokes with a score of -25 in 2019. Course was wet and soft due to the frequent rain leading into the event. And while the rough was at about 3.5, 4 inches, it didn't really stop golfers from breaking out the big stick off the tee. 4 years ago, Bryson and Wolf torched the course, and 11 golfers shot -15 or better. 3 years ago, the wind was up, and the winner was still -18, and more than half the people that made the cut finished double digit under par. This was with 20-plus mile-per-hour gusts every day of the event. 2 years ago, Finau torched the course, winning score -26. Last year, Ricky won at -24. There has been a fair amount of rain in Detroit this summer, and the weather looks a bit stormy this week. So wet conditions are in play, which should lead to many darts thrown onto the green, no matter from the fairway or the rough. There is some talk of like 30-mile-per-hour gusts on Saturday. So that's something to keep an eye on. It probably won't affect the cut, but I mean, if you're playing Showdown or something on Saturday, it's probably something to look at. Now, usually in these type of events, a hot putter gets the job done. So this causes a lot of volatility. Basically, this event wide open. Long shots definitely in play, especially when considering how short the course is. Bombing will help you, but don't let the 7,300-yard length fool you. The par 4s only average around 420 yards in length, and with 2 shortest par 3s and par 5s, short knockers with hot putters and a solid wedge short iron game definitely in play this week. Now, the Detroit Golf Club was designed by Donald Ross and has all the usual trademarks of a Ross course: tree-lined fairways, numerous fairway bunkers in the tee shot landing zones, undulating fairways and greens. Greens always slope heavily from back to front, and a somewhat even blend of longish and shorter holes. The course is a 7,300-plus yard par 72, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s. 2 of the par 5s are around the 550-yard range, should be reached in 2 by most golfers that hit the fairway off the tee. So the par 5 17th, bit longer, 577 yards, still should be reachable in 2 with a good drive. Par 5 4th hole, well over 600, probably be a 3-shot hole for most. 2 of the par 3s are on the shorter side, and 2 are well over 200 yards. 7 of the par 4s range from 395 to 455 yards. 2 range from 465 to 480, and 1 of the par 4s is close to 380 yards. With 4 par 5s, several longer par 4s, and hardly any dog legs, I expect to see driver pulled out on close to half the holes each round. I think I saw a stat like on non-par 3s, it was like 79% of the time we're going to see driver all off the tee. Now, off the tee, golfers are going to see many straight holes, not too many dog legs, average fairway width, and fairway bunkers in the landing zones. The fairways have a bit of undulation on them, so many approaches will come with awkward stances. And if golfers miss the fairway off the tee, they're going to have to deal with 3.5+ inch rough and some trees. The rough hasn't led to tough scoring conditions, as the winning scores have been what I said before, almost all in the mid -20s, except for the 1 year where it was windy as fuck, but the winning score was still -18 that year. If golfers miss wildly with their driver, they could catch a break, as drivers that miss by 20+ yards or more could land in fairways on other holes. It's very Firestone-esque when it comes to the positioning of this. A lot of, one hole going this way, another hole coming back the other way right next to it, with another hole on the other side maybe going in the same direction, right? And so if you miss wildly, like almost like what Tony Finau did in Puerto Rico in his first win, where he was actually aiming for other fairways, right? You could see some of that at a course like this where everything is so straight ahead, where if you miss by 20 yards to the right, you're in somebody else's fairway. One of my specialties on the golf course, personally, for me. Now, like I said, on approaches, golfers will see less than average sized greens with bunkers surrounding most of them. The greens slope heavily from back to front with a stim meter rating of around 12.5. The majority of all approaches will be from inside 175 yards, so a strong wedge short iron play is a must. 125 to 175, something to key on this week. The POA bent blended greens have heavy undulation, so it could be a tough putting week for some, depending on how difficult they make the pin locations. If you're looking for correlating courses, Sedgefield, Eastlake are the other two Donald Ross courses played every year. You can also look at the Travelers, which has the same type of bet poet greens as we see at Detroit Golf Club. What are you looking for in golfers this week, my friend?
I know the correlations for distance aren't that high yet, Kenny, but most of my outright card, I think if you want to really pop here, you got to be able to nuke it off the tee a bit. I think that helps a lot. Guys that can hit the irons close, I use this thing called good shot rate. So on one shot, you're getting over half a stroke on approach. That's what you're looking for. That's going to give you a really good birdie opportunity. I'll be looking for a lot of that this week. And then guys who can just make putts, you got to be able to make your putts and you got to dominate those par fives. So that's why Davis Thompson loves this kind of golf course, because the guys he lead at par five scoring. So I think that's what you're kind of looking for here. It's kind of simple, but at the same time, a lot of people can do that kind of stuff, on this tour. So that's what makes it so hard.
All right, well, let's get to these fucking tiers. Let's go into the 10K range. We got, my shit's all discombobulated. Who do we got in 10K range there, brother?
Yeah, mine's also frozen, but it's Tom Kim, Cameron Young, Minwoo Lee, and Alex Noren are the top 4 guys in the 10K range there. And Tom's at 11, and Alex Noren's at 10-2 at the bottom.
Who are you going with?
It's all ownership dependent, because I really like these guys at the top. All 4 of them are nice to go with. I think Tom Kim is playing his 8th consecutive tournament or 9th consecutive tournament.
But he's 22.
He is 22, but geez, dude, that's a lot of golf. It's all about who's popular. I'll play any of these guys if they give me a leverage opportunity. I can't tell you who. Like you said, this is long shot season in this event. So I'm not going to be playing chalk up top here. My number 1 guy in the model is Cameron Young, because he's just played well in the past. He's obviously playing great right now, but I think...
Do you think everyone's going to jump back on him now after two good rounds?
Well, he shot a 59, and we got to go low, yeah. So everyone's going to think, oh, he'll do it again. Maybe he does, but I just don't trust him to win the tournament. Whereas I think Tom Kim could win this tournament, where I think Minwoo finds himself in the mix. He could win the tournament. So I guess those are my 2 guys, Tom and Minwoo.
I like Tom. I'm going to play Tom. Even with the 9 weeks. I don't care. When it comes down to it, the guy, he just makes a shit ton of fucking birdies, especially when it comes to easier. He's number 1 in the model in birdies are better gain, number 3 in strokes gained tee to green. Everything suits up for him. I think he's played this course before and he did pretty decent, right? I can't remember. What's it?
Reasonable.
He played last year. It wasn't horrible. Now, when it comes to Cameron Young and Minwoo, I'm going to play the lowest owned of the 2, which I would suspect would be Minwoo, because I think both can win and I think both can shit the fucking bed, right? All right, and so when it comes down to it, I'm only going to play one of those 2 guys, and I'm probably going to go with the guy with the lower ownership. Minwoo, he can pound it out there, hit it far. He's become a little bit more consistent here. Now his iron game still isn't the best, but he hits it so far, and off the tee, so strong that I think I would go on him on this week. Now Noren, I just can't pay 10K for him. If he wins and beats me, he beats me. Now here's the thing: I think a lot of people might think the way I'm thinking, so I would guess Noren is the lowest owned guy in the 10K range, even though he is the cheapest. Now, this thing does go down to 6K. Is this the first time we've seen 6K in a non-signature event?
5K in a non-signature, yes. Yeah, the 5K
I'm trying
range.
to think back. We're going down to 5K. I mean, you literally could play, any 2 guys up top, basically, if you wanted to. Because we're not going all the way up to 13K with Scotty, right? It's 11.
They forgot to change the settings, I think. Almost.
Yeah, it's 11,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could play Cameron Young, Tom Kim lineups and be okay.
I built a really nice lineup with 3 9K guys in it.
So yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna play Tom. He's my favorite. I'll play the lowest owned of Cameron Young and Minwoo, who I suspected would be Minwoo, but I don't know. People might turn around and be like, I'm not going to go back to Tom. I'll go back to Cam after just a couple of rounds. If he's going to be 28% owned, maybe his ownership takes a drop after the ownership projections come out.
Yeah.
Right. And you can see something like that. That's something I could see with a Cam Young. if you see him at like 28%, almost 30%, right? When you look at Gups Corner, Rotoballers, or Fantasy Nationals lineup ownership projections, you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And maybe his number gets closer. Yeah, maybe his number gets closer to 20% because of that. I could definitely see that happening with a guy like Cam Young, who's so volatile both ways. All right, so let's go to this 9K range, and I love a lot of golfers here. I'm going to start off with Taylor Pendrith as my first cash game cornerstone. Pretty simple stuff. I have him as one of my bets. He tends to play these easier courses very well. Very good putter. His iron game has been very, very strong here recently. So I like Taylor. Very, very easy for my first cash game corner. The next one, I'm going a little course history with Steven Yeager, who's also, a guy who makes a lot of cuts. I think he's made like 6 of his last 7 cuts. He has back-to-back top 10s at this event. Tee to green, he's exceptionally strong. He's really good from 150 to 175. So I'll go ahead and play Yeager as my second cash game cornerstone. And I like Bhatia up there at 9,800. Again, another guy who can make a good amount of birdies, good from 150 to 175, good on shorter par 4s, and can putt it, and his putter can catch heat if it really wants to. So I like those 3 guys, basically. Bhatia is the GPP, and give me those other 2 guys in cash. Who do you like in the 9K range?
Kenny, I love those because Yeager and Pendrith, this course is their second best course. Out of all of their courses that they played, 52 and 45 different courses. This is their second best strokes gained course of theirs. So love those as 2 cash game cornerstones. I love the Bhatia play as well. All my outrights are in this range. I will not be playing Ricky Fowler. Hopefully a lot of people go back to him because of his Rocket Mortgage win here last year. The guy's got 1 top 5 in like the last 23 starts. It's disgusting.
He top 15 last week, right?
No. He finished 21st or 20th. He made an eagle on the final, almost made a hole-in-one. Lifeless, dude. When he celebrated that victory, there's I have this gif where he's just his soul just leaves his body. He lost all ambition to be good at golf again. From that moment on, he gave that 2-footer to Tommy Fleetwood to pretty much concede the freaking Ryder Cup. Ricky Fowler is on my shit list. I'm done with him. I don't know if I can deal with that guy anymore. Willie Z as well. Grades out really well for me, but I don't trust him on this kind of a golf course, despite his caliber. Maybe if some ownership provides us with some opportunity to leverage there, but those 3 guys at the top are going to be very popular.
Yeah, I agree. But that's why I got those 2 at cash and then Bhatia. If you're looking for a pivot in the 9K range,
I'd go Willie Z over Ricky.
It's probably got to be Willie Z, right? I mean, you would think, but I don't know if I'm going to go with him either. 8K range, Maverick Neely, third cash game cornerstone, $8,900. Again, we talked about him, a bomber whose iron game has been sneakily getting a lot better here in the last few months. Who is one of the best putters in this field, or who's a top half putter in this field. Top third putter in this field. Of course, he makes a shit ton of birdies. He hits it long enough. Really strong off the tee. He's had a top 10 at this course in the past. He's been playing really good golf in his last few times out. Now, I did have a really, really hard time between him and Rye. So if you want to play Rye in cash instead of Mav, I have no problem with that. Definitely thought about doing that. I actually hit up producer Mike earlier today, told him it was going to be Mav, hit him up an hour later, be like, I changed my mind, it's going to be Rye. Hit him up 30 minutes after that. Like, my bad, it's going to go back to Mav. So
and that conversation had multiple typos in it as well.
My bad, producer Mike. I apologize about that. But I really like him in this range. I like Killer Keith a lot. He bombing out there. Tee to green, he's been the best in this field, one of the strongest off the tee, very good from both 125, 150, 150 to 175. Long off the tee. I actually had him in my cash lineup at one point in time, though I made some adjustments. He's not in there now, but he could be by the end of the week. I like Bobby Mack. I don't really like him, but I'm going to play Bobby Mack. I hate that fat bastard. Anyways, I'm playing him. You know, when you gamble, when you're playing for money, you got to let all biases aside. So fake ass Colin Montgomery is going to get some of my money this week for Bobby Mack, just because, you know, he's been playing exceptionally good golf. I mean, even last week he was good. He's deceptively long off the tee, and he can putt his ass off. So go ahead and give me a little bit of Bobby Mack down here. I'll play Chris Kirk. I'll play Ryan Fox. You know, Foxy again, another guy, short course, not short course, easier course, tends to play better, can pound it out there. I like this 8K range a lot. I don't mind just playing those 3 guys in the 9K range, 1 guy or 2 guys in that 10K range and above, and just peppering this 8K range. One guy I'll probably avoid because I can never get him right is Davis Thompson. And he's picking up so much steam from what I've already seen that he's probably going to be 15 to 18% owned. I would suspect maybe even close to 20. We'll see. And I will go ahead and pass on that with that type of ownership. Even though everything sort of looks like it sort of fits when it comes to this course, I could just never get him right. So he's probably going to win.
Well, it'll be his first top 5 in the last year, if he does win, for Davis Thompson. I mean, that's what you're getting with him. Like, the lack of upside with Davis Thompson is paramount. And his first top 10, I believe, was at the US Open, of all places. So, you know, like, if you want to go long-term stuff, Davis Thompson, not good at all for an upside play at this price point. You know, I think he's going to be very popular. But if you're looking for some recent trends, you know, he's showing some form at his first top 10 at a US Open in a major. That can give you some confidence. So he dominates his par 5s. I can see why people will like him, but I will be not playing him if he's very popular. And another guy who I'm going to make a bold claim here and say maybe Keith Mitchell's the most owned option in the field because he leads the field in strokes gained total. Kenny, his last top 5 was a 3M. That's coming up in like 4 weeks' time or whatever, right? Like, it's almost been a year since he's had a top 5. Yet he's sitting here in the field with a number 1 strokes gained total. So he's going to be very, very popular, and he makes a lot of sense for this golf course, but he just doesn't deliver, man. This guy he's like your Uber Eats. You need to have Killer Keith as your Uber Eats guy because you'll be ordering stuff that you think you're getting, but he's not delivering to you, bro. So that's the situation we're finding ourselves here. But I love the rest of these guys in this 8K range. And I think I'll just be finding low-owned options to kind of slide in with those other 3 guys, you know, that we spoke about in the 9s, which I'm a big fan of. So just finding the options to pivot off here. This Michael Thorbjornsson, it is definitely someone I'll be looking at. Ryan Fox, Chris Kirk, blah, blah, blah. Bobby Mack, I'm in. You know, like, these are all options I'll be looking at. Maybe Maverick McNeely will be left out as well. Doesn't have a top 5 in his last 12 months either. So I like him as a cash.
But his last start was 7th.
Yes, that's good. You know, again, but at the same time, you know how we go with the Minwoo Lee bet and Sam Burns, right? Like, you just get that little urge of sudden like momentum, and the next thing you're firing it up. So I can see how that works out, but I'm a long-term guy. You know, that's what you're trying to do here in the golf betting side, and just squeeze edges out. But yeah, those will be my fades and plays in the 8s.
Go ahead with a 7K range, brother.
In the 7s, Taylor Moore, number 1 option when it comes to this golf course. It's his best golf course. He scores the best strokes gained metrics at this venue out of all golf courses he's ever played on the PGA Tour.
So you're not worried about form.
Bucks. If he's going to be low owned at $7,500, I'm in. You know, like, there's certain guys that just have this really good course history stuff. It just suits his eye. He's cheap. If he struggles, he struggles. You know, he's affordable. I think I'm okay with that.
Because if I'm going course history in this situation, I'm going Matt Wallace instead.
Sure.
Because the form is there too. You know,
right.
So personally, I would put Wallace ahead of him, but I understand where you're going with Moore. I almost had him in my cast on him too when I first initially made it, but then I looked at his course history. I'm like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because if you got form and good course history, you're going to be popular. You know, whereas if you got the good course history and lack of form, that should provide you with the situation to kind of get around that, right? So
true. I like that thought.
I don't mind that there. And then I used the American Express 3 courses for, I know the stadium course not as much, but Nick Dunlap really translates well as a comp course option. When it comes to these like low scoring events with weak fields, that's when Nick Dunlap really shows up. So I'll
I
be
like
playing
him.
Nick. He's
Yeah,
he's
I
weird.
think
You know, he's
been
like a
you know, even after his win, like he sucked, but like he's had some pretty good finishes here recently, like in the last a couple of months.
the
So I
Memorial.
like that dude. Yeah,
He
I
just
like
showed
that
up at the Memorial out of nowhere. I think he
Yeah.
must be a big milkshake guy. But
Yeah.
whatever he was getting up to, Cameron Davis, right in this range here, Nikolai Højgaard, Bo Hoster. These are all guys that grade inside the top 22 for me in my model, you know, and they're in the 7.3s, 7.2s. So big time fan of these guys. And then Kevin Yu. Oh boy, this guy can hit the nukes off the tee, but when he putts badly, he putts very badly. You know, like he orders a full portion of 24 chicken wings when he's playing badly, Kenny. And I think Kevin Yu's got the upside though, but the backwards thing, he can hit it in reverse pretty quickly there. So those are just some options I don't mind getting my hands on in the 7s, yeah.
Just starting up near the top. I mean, Alba Hubbard seems like a guy who just makes every cut. If you're looking for safety and like cash or something, I don't know even if I would go there. I thought about it, but I'm not sure. Svensson is another guy that I like, whose tee to green game is exceptionally strong, very good on short par 4s, accurate off the tee, even though he doesn't necessarily have the length. His approach game has been fire here recently, so I like Svenny. Patrick Rogers hits it long, he can putt his ass off, good on shorter par 4s. I can go with a little Patrick Rogers. Matt Wallace, I did talk about already. I am a fan. Lee Hodges is my final cash game cornerstone. Again, top 10 in approach, top 5 in wedge play. One of the best from, 125 to 175 in this field. He's made a bunch of cuts here recently, so make him my lowest priced cash game cornerstone. I'm 100% cool with that. So my cash game cornerstones for this week are going to be Endrith at 96, Jaeger at 94, Mav at 89, though I don't hate Rye at 88, and also Hodges at 71. Other guys that I'm looking at, I like Højgaard. I think talent-wise, Højgaard is up there in talent with the people that are high-priced in this field. He hasn't really showed too much, but he showed a little bit at the Open Championship, at the U.S. Open, where he started off really strong, but really fought his way to make the cut and actually finish with a respectable finish. I do like Højgaard. He can hit it long off the field. I don't expect him to be highly owned. And I think just talent-wise, he's one of the most talented golfers in this 10K range, or in this 7K range. So I like Højgaard down here a little bit lower. Sam Stevens, whenever a driver-heavy course is just Sam Stevens for me. When he has the big dog in his hand 80% of the time, I feel like he can peak. So this is that type of course. So I'll play a little low-owned Sam Stevens. I'm gonna hit the burger train, going back with Boog over at $7,000. Again, he's looked strong. He played well at the U.S. Open. His ball striking numbers have been strong. Again, he's always been very good at weak field, easy events, easy courses throughout his career. So I do like him at 7K. Now let's move down to the 6K, and there's plenty of guys down here. Doug Kim, again, tee to green, really, really strong, really good from 125 to 150. Really good on shorter R4s. Same with Taylor Montgomery, a guy who could be sub 4% owned, right? Who hits it far, can putt his ass off. Not the best on approaches, but his best proximity range is 400 to 450 par 4s. And you're going to see a bunch of those. And you're going to see sub 3%, sub 5% on him. He could be a GDP winner. Toasty, we talked about. You talked about. Now we got this Jackson Koivunen guy who I know, I think it was either Bear Off or somebody posted about all these young bucks, or it could have been Sky Hook out there. Some of these new young studs. He's going to be a guy that you probably want to remember his name. I don't know much about him. I'm going it based off people who are smarter than me talking about him that I would trust. So I could go play a little bit of him.
A very good putter.
Yeah,
very good putter.
Justin Lower, another easy course specialist. Like he moves from like I guess 7th to 4th in my model when it comes to regular no filters to easy course filter. He cracks my top 5 in my model. Again, another guy down here, Matty Schmid, again, sub 3%, sub 2% guy who's going to be down here, who can pound, who's good off the tee, and he can putt very, very well, and who no one is going to play. And there's a bunch of guys down here. I mean, Chan Kim, okay?
Yes.
He goes from like 24th to like 6th in my model when you go from no filter to easy courses, easy scoring conditions. I do like Chan Kim. Troy Merritt, right underneath him, loves this course, loves birdie fest, right? If it's a birdie fest and Troy Merritt's in the 6K range, you play him. It's like law, right? So you go ahead and play Troy Merritt at 6,300. Neil Shipley, Chesson Hadley, David Skins. There's a shit ton of plays in this 6K range. Even in this field, there are guys. That's why it's not difficult for superstars and scrubs, and I expect a lot of superstars and scrubs this week. Who do you like in the 6K range?
I'll just rattle off 2 guys because I liked a lot of your dudes, Kenny. You know, the Toasties, the Naps, the SH Kims, Neil Shipley's, Chan Kims, all those guys. A lot of the Kims this week I like them a lot. But
SH Kim, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
He might even be my favorite play down there. Like I said, like first in birdies on easy scoring conditions in this field last 24 rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
He's made 11 cuts in a row, 11 out of 12.
Been cruising, dude, and he's $6,400. You know, it's like super, super, super cheap. So I'm all in on those guys. I will mention that I'm a big fan of Andrew Novak this week as well. I think, you know, he's just been playing some steady, solid golf this year. And then I want to mention another guy by the name of Max Greason, $6,200, and this dude's just popping pretty hard for me. So I'll be playing him a lot with some Charlie Hoffman as well. Take a peek. You want to play Charlie Hoffman at courses Charlie Hoffman plays well at, right? So if you think about the waste management, the guy was just making birdies after birdies. That's one of his favorite courses. I think he tends to play pretty nicely at this venue as well. Charlie Hoffman, $6,200. See what you can find yourself over there.
Where's David Skins? Yeah, David Skins is another guy at 6,000 who goes from like 39th in my model to like top 15 when it comes to easy courses also. So another guy that you could pick off here in this 6K range. Ben Cole's 5 at 6K. It's right at 6,000.
Yes, there's so many guys.
Yeah. 5K range is not as great. Go ahead.
I like Gary Kigo. I like Parker Cootie, Semi Valimaki. Those are some options I'm in the fan.
You like Parker or Pearson?
Parker.
I like Pearson.
The OG brother we all thought was going to be the one, but I think Pearson's a pretty good putter as well. But Parker's popping for me. Don't mind him. And then Harry Hall, another guy who can get it sending off the tee and then every now and then catches a good hot putter. So give me a bit of him there, and I think that's going to be some other options, I guess, in the bottom here. Rafael Campos. I'm a big fan
your
of him.
boy Kelly Craft.
Kelly Craft, exactly.
Third in my model on easy courses. My model might be fucked.
But Kenny,
I might have changed my model.
No, that's the whole point of DFS is you find your freaking narrative and you ride with it, baby. And I'm in for it, you know.
My favorite play, Sam Ryder. I'm a big Sam Ryder guy.
Yes.
Always loved me a little bit of Sammy Ryder. And the guy can just make a whole shit ton of birdies when he wants. Yeah. Like his birdie,
and eagles and stuff.
Yeah, the guy can just make a ton of birdies, bro.
Yeah.
And then a 5,700, 5,600, give me a little bit of Ryder down here. Anybody under like 55? Because I stop at Kelly Craft at 57.
Yeah, I think like Roger Sloan showed some form in Canada, has a solid history as well, like a really solid history too. So I'll take a little bit of Roger Sloan if that's what's on the menu for us there.
Well, you got Miles Russell down there, who's what, 16, 17, right?
Oh, he's the KFT guy. Yeah, that made the youngest KFT cut. Yeah. Let's go.
I don't know if we're going to play him, but it'd be cool to see him play. Got some 16-year-old out there balling. When I was 16, I was getting stoned behind the trash dumpster of the apartment complex right next to my high school. That's what I was doing when I was 16. Hey, similar to what I'm doing now, except I'm at home doing it. And it's not against the law. And it's not against the law now. That would be another thing. All right. Anything else before we move on to nothing? I think we're finished.
That's it for me, Kenny.
All right, that sounds good. Tell them where they can find you, my friend.
Yeah, catch me at Back 9 Bets tomorrow, 7 Eastern, and on X at the Model Maniac. I'll be there for you. For any questions that you have, I'll post all my stuff, all my articles at rotoballer.com. Use code SUMMER. That'll get you, I think, 30% off this summer. So that's working out nicely for us.
You can find me on X at KendoVT. Find my articles every week on gupscorner.com. Use promo code Kenny. Save yourself 30% on a sub to Gups Corner. All right, so can we get 3 straight weeks of awesome golf in a row, even with this shitty field? I sure hope so. Let's win some motherfucking money. DJ Nation.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the Molly and I think it's be my third. Jordan Belfort.
We'll go against Tampa. Shit.
You didn't mean to go. You popped the Eddie too quickly, Kenny.
I know I'm high as shit right now. It's a fucking problem.
You're going to have to do this now. Let's go.
No. You do it. You do it. Why do I have to do it? You can do it.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
stoned right now, dude.
All right. Okay.